who comes to your mind when I say the following words? Just think of it. Don't say the answer. Just think of who comes to your mind when I say the words first. A cricketer, an actor, a comedian, a musician, a teacher. Now ask yourself, whosoever came to your mind, was it possible for them to accomplish or reach to your mind and heart and souls without actually living a dream with passion, without pursuing what they really believed in and what they've invested and been obsessed with doing all their life? And this is not just about individuals. The same applies for companies as well. If you look at companies, again, think of yourself, what comes to your mind when I say e-commerce, when I say a restaurant, when I say good food, or a good tea, who or what or which experience comes to your mind? The point is, each of the people who reflected in your mind were not people who were just doing a job or getting things done and surviving in this world. They were people with whatever small thing or big thing that they did, they lived their passion in what they were doing. And that's where it was possible for them to enter your mind and reflect when I said that word to you. So, thank God, it's a Friday. Sorry, it's a Saturday. Thank God, it's a month end. Often people use these statements with a sigh of relief. But I often use these statements with a excitement because this is one time, the last Saturday of the month, the last weekend of the month, and it is where the Speak Up Club open mics happen. Because this is where I feel my heart beats with the idea of this community and this platform where we all come together. Today, with the theme, What's Your Passion? The idea is very simple. Ask yourself, what is it that your heart beats for? What if I told you tomorrow morning you have to wake up at 4 a.m.? What will be that reason that will make you wake up? Often a case, when you look at something as a passion, there's a big opportunity for you to use that passion, something that energizes you, as a feeding mechanism for you. Today, if I'm working in a business, I'm working whatever I'm doing, how this feeds as a confidence element to what I do is profound. It doesn't have to be a profession. Often a case I've seen people asking, how are you monetizing it? How are you growing? I'm not intending to, because the purpose this passion serves for me is very personal of what I want to look at it. I'm growing in it. I'm upgrading myself. I'm upskilling myself. But the point is, I'm always focused on it serves a purpose in my life of how am I using this to feed whatever happens in my life. I think that was a wonderful share with regard to how, as an example, the dancing element, the public speaking element, how doing that stuff feeds into other parts of your life. It could be your work, it could be other relationships, it could be your home. Everywhere, if you have something that you are engaged in, which you are deeply passionate about, I think that has a ripple effect on how you are going to live your life. And that shows in how you're living your life. You could be doing the most mundane job, you could be living in a normal relationship, but the profound ripple effect of pursuing something is massive. It's beautifully said. Either do what you love, which is something that you're seeking, you're trying to find what is it. But more importantly, can you love what you do? I think the generation that she's coming from, when she says that 25 years of experience, being a good mother, being a good mother-in-law, sorry, not mother-in-law, being a good daughter-in-law, whatever be it, the big question is, why are we trying to search and trying to create something that does it connect with me? Can we not go in with an approach where we can try to sink in with whatever is happening? One question that we all can ask is, if you are not finding passion or not finding excitement, ask yourself this one question. If you have not found what you're passionate about, when was the last time you did something for the first time? When was the last time you did something for the first time? And more importantly, are you missing out the things that you're already doing? Because you're constantly thinking of being somewhere else, doing something else. If you're not in the present of what you are doing, aren't we giving a passion or the love that we can pour into whatever we are doing a chance? It has to make sense to you as an individual. It has to sense and connect with why you're doing and what you're doing for your own self. A lot of times I've had this instance, because being a speaker a lot and being in business, a lot of people keep asking me in my family and extended family, why are you doing it? What are you getting out of it? Here in business, you earn this much. You're not even earning a small fraction of what you will earn from the business by doing this. Why so much of an effort? You're waiting or sleeping, not sleeping and working on this overnights. you're creating this app, you're trying out that. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone. If you know the painter, Van Gogh, the painter in his lifetime made 2000 paintings. And the funny part, only one was sold while he was alive. Now imagine the madness. If he was chasing the clap, the applause, the price, the valuation, and all the things that have followed after that, today his paintings in all collection are worth more than $10 billion. While he sold only one while he was alive. That's the beauty of passion. You don't do it for any other validation beyond yourself, but for the joy it adds for you to do whatever you're doing. So whatever stories that we heard till now was all sheer joy of pursuing whatever you're passionate about without any external validation for it. It's just if it makes sense to you, do it. That's the only answer to it. But did you observe the kind of zeal with which he was speaking? It felt as if he was possessed. And that is what passion is. But that is what passion is. It has to be until that scale of kind of madness with which you do things. And that is what provides meaning to your life. And I think that's the entire idea behind pursuing a passion to that scale, to that madness, which in itself becomes a meaning to your life. There will be different times in your life, different challenges, different situations where you'll be complete chaos. I had this situation personally where in 2020, my father was diagnosed with COVID and he was in the ICU. And I was completely rattled. I didn't know what to do, how to take off time, because I had to just take off that time waiting outside the ICU. What next? We didn't have any answers. We never knew. We were all preparing for the worst come outcome. And at that point in time, to keep my sanity, I went back to a speaker club session. And I realized at that point in time that doing this virtual session that we had at that point in time gave me that 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes of that session where I could take my mind off even the most chaotic situations. I've had my own troubles with mental health. In 2023, I was having big challenges. And yet, in that, one solace or one platform, one medicine that worked was the stage. I've often used this as an opportunity to get back or realign myself or to find sanity in what I'm doing. So 2023, there was this instance where I was going to a doctor. From there, I went to this session. 800 people, I was delivering a session. But one way in which you can find your truest self and the calmness is within is in how you are pushing yourself into things that you're passionate about. I've heard this quote. It says, if you follow or do what you're passionate, you'll never be working in your life. You won't need to work in a life. Nonsense. The reality is 90% of the things that you will be doing will be the mundane, everyday, routine stuff that you're doing, even if you're most passionate about it. I love the stage, but what I spend here is less than 5% of the fraction of what I'm actually invested into it. And the point that Akash was mentioning is that if I were to get what I am loving by being here, it is because I'm able to push myself in that 95%. When you don't have the passion, that 95% becomes the pain, becomes the depression, becomes the challenges that you get in life. Because you want this, but you're not willing to pay the cost for it. The same logic with discipline. It is that 95% where the discipline comes, where you bear the fruits of experiencing the passion that you have while you're standing here. So the question that you need to ask is, everything is painful. That's a reality. As you progress in your life, once you go over the honeymoon period, college, fun, initial job and everything, the reality is everything is painful. The question you need to ask is it worth it? And if it's for the passion, it will definitely be worth it. And you'll be able to persist and keep going on with the things that you're doing. Today, as an example, 6 years of Speak Up Club, I have given up on my birthdays, anniversaries. My travel plans are adjusted based on how and when the session is. There were times when I didn't want to and still I showed up. There were times when there were 2 registrations, I showed up. There were times when we have 20 registrations and I have showed up. Surprisingly, this is the Speak Up Club weekend. It happens on the last weekend of every month. Funny enough, today is my wife's 40th birthday. And I'm still here. That's the thing that you got to understand. It isn't easy. It's the choices that you're making based on what you truly love and what's your calling. There are times when passion eventually dies off. There are possibility for different reasons. But is there a way, or is there something that is greater than passion that can help you survive both the passion and the joy that you have in it? It's making a purpose out of it. Passion is all about your story, about the joy that you're getting, the happiness that you're getting, the excitement that it adds, the way you feel while you're pursuing that. For a long time, I pursued the stage with that idea that I am passionate about it. But that changed in the past few years. That was when the passion became a purpose to give a voice to people. This entire idea of Speak Up Club and the way it provides a platform where for thinking, for expressing, for listening and taking in ideas, it turned into a purpose for me. Today, there will be times when I don't want to get up from the bed and do or organize and do all the dirty stuff before I enjoy this stuff. And yet I feel there are times, yesterday Sahiti sent me a message that her student who's 8 years old, who's in the US, wants a platform to express herself. And she joined yesterday, virtually, and she expressed herself. And there are times, multiple times, now, as an example, she's saying this fact that I was not thinking about what is passion. The point that a session like this gives them an opportunity to ponder over it in itself is a reason for me to do something like this. Irrespective of what happens, how it happens, the joy that I get from building this opportunity, and that has become my purpose. Giving this space, giving this environment, giving this opportunity where people can just find their own story, find their voice, and find a community like this where they can express and find inputs. That has become my purpose. And somewhere, even if there were times when the passion died down, that I don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired. It's too taxing on me. Why do I need to do it? And what has kept me alive is the purpose with which I've done it. I think the question that each one of you all can ask when it comes to passion and not able to scale it up or not able to persist in it, ask yourself, can you change the script from you to the others, to what it serves, to how it can help someone out there? And that drive will never die out.